Hey guys, my name is Lexi Sorensen, and I'm going to be talking about the future of social and digital media. So, to start, I would like to define social media. So, social media is interactions among people in which they create, share, and/or exchange information and ideas in virtual communities and networks. So, basically, social media is a way to interact with people and exchange information and experiences and just really anything with people and those around you. So, social media or digital media started in the 20th century. The telephone was created in 1890, the radio was created in 1891, computers were created in 1940, the internet came out in 1960, and internet chats were a huge thing, but they were created in 1988. So this is just kind of a chart of what we have had and where we are now. I know it doesn't start all the way at the beginning and it doesn't go all the way to where we are now, but I think it's super interesting to look at what's on here and think about what we use now in our daily lives. So, for example, Facebook and LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, um, those are things that we use all the time. And they are just kind of our daily lives. Same with Instagram and Twitter. And it's kind of interesting to compare it to MySpace and Vine, Ask FM. Those have completely faded away and they're no longer a part of our spectrum. And so it's kind of interesting to look at what gets brought in and what sticks around. So, right now, these are the six top platforms that are being used today. So, we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram. And it's interesting because each of these platforms uses a different mechanism in order to communicate and get messages out to their consumers. So it's pretty cool to watch like how they transform and the upgrades that they do and kind of the mechanisms that they do in regards to the things that I'm going to be talking about. So the transition from where we started to where we are now is super interesting. So social media isn't just about communicating anymore. It's more than that. It used to just be where you would post pictures and some blurbs, some comments on your Facebook profile or your Twitter and just kind of say what you wanted to say, but it's not about that anymore. Social media and digital media has transformed into something bigger and better. So now we have dating. Social media gives us advertising, it involves us in politics, and it revolves around shopping. So I'm going to be talking about these as we go on. When it comes to the future, I think this word slash, I guess you could just say this phrase on the right-hand side is super important to understand. So it says social media is always improving. And I wrote this because it is, and it's super essential to understand that. So, for example, Snapchat, they just recently did an upgrade, and no one was really okay with it. It didn't work well. People didn't like how it looked. They had problems navigating because people get so caught up in the now and what we have, and they get comfortable. And I think it's extremely important that people understand that social media is never going to stay the same. The digital and the technology behind it is always changing, and it forever will be. And if we don't understand that, then we're never going to be happy with what comes out. Then again, if we understand that it's always changing and something doesn't change to the way we want, we need to understand that things take time. So, going on that, personally, future predictions with social media. These are just some of the things that I'm predicting and I have seen, I've read about, I've researched, and some things that I just think might occur. So I think in the future, social media is really going to start focusing on relationships, education, job. There's going to be huge improvements with tech savvy and premium pricing. So furthering on that, premium pricing. So people right now are very comfortable with what we have, like I said. And they understand that we have all these social media platforms that come at no cost. It is free to do that. It is free to use them. It is free to post. But as the improvements come about and technology becomes bigger and better, consumers are going to have to start to pay for their privacy. The premium pricing that's going to be charged is going to be required for those who want a better overall experience. I'm not really sure if this is going to be something that's going to occur for everyone, but it's definitely going to occur for those who want the high quality images and the video and audio files. So the people who want more of a technology, a higher technology environment, I guess you could say. It's not just going to come free anymore because there's too much being put into it. And like I said, everything's always improving. With virtual reality, I think it's super important to understand that this has been a thing, but it's going to improve. So, for example, I saw something that I'm not sure if it happened this year, but I know that it may in the future, but it was a article about Coachella and virtual reality. So it was saying that if you can't afford those tickets to go to Coachella and you can't afford the tickets to maybe a game or really anything that's in a live event, instead of you going to the concert, they're going to bring the concert to you. So with virtual reality, it's slowly going to consume many live events. And both with research and my own personal opinion, I think that's very accurate. I think that with virtual reality, it really does give you an in-person experience. You can look around and see where you are and see people and be involved with it. And I think that this is something that's going to become huge in the future. As it is, in 2016, Facebook already planned a release for a form of digital and virtual reality through their network. So basically in their network, it is going to be a virtual reality where you can see yourself in an animated form and communicate with your friends across the world. And you can just kind of walk around and drop digital files in random places in the air. And they haven't really released a specific date, but they are announcing that it is going to be coming soon. Education is huge with digital media and social media. So as it is where we are now, many professors in many classes are using platforms to communicate with their students. As it is, I'm in 3 classes right now that they all use some form of social media to communicate. I think it's really important to understand that mobile learning is becoming the new things because schools are leaning away from books and books are just becoming too expensive. They're too much hassle when you can just have books online and put everything on your computer where you're going to do most of your work anyways. They're starting to lean away from print media. So I think over time, they are going to lean away from print in general. And as the future comes, we're no longer going to have newspapers or magazines. Everything's going to be digital. And that's just because of the way things are going. And that's how the future is going to be run. With jobs and advertising, I think this is essential to companies right now. This is kind of the main thing and the main way for them to advertise and market and really anything is through social media right now. And many people don't see it, but this is something that I personally pay a lot of attention to because it is rising very quickly. So right now companies are using social media to advertise and market, which in the end opens more job opportunities because someone is going to need to be behind the computer that is working on that stuff. So I don't know if you've noticed, but if you've ever been online shopping, they tend to track what you're looking at. And then randomly a sponsored post will come up and say, oh, look, these are on sale. And I think that that's super essential for companies right now because we're on it every day and it's continuously moving. I don't think that social media will change over time, but I think that what we are using now is going to significantly improve. And by the time that 15, 20 years goes by, we're no longer going to have print and everything's going to be digital. But I think that it's all going to be good in the end. And